Welcome to another episode of Bikers Inner Circle Underground Radio. Biker rap and music to wrench by. You're listening to Good Time Charlie on Bikers Inner Circle Underground Radio.
All right. This part of the show is brought to you by UP and Abraham and their motorcycle attorneys out in Milwaukee. And I tell you what, they sponsor our show, and we're glad of that. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody. And as you can see, I got Bad Santa up. And that's because we're in a lame duck session right now. And Pelosi is still in there trying to get some stuff done. And there's, work benefits right now that are on the table and a bunch of different programs. And a lot of stuff affects the motorcycle industry too. So we're gonna get Tony Pan on the line and talk to him about some of this stuff. All right, folks, I got Tony Pan on the line, and Tony's the founder of Boat and Wisconsin Abate, and he's also on the cover of Saddle Tramp magazine. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Charlie?
Doing good. Hey, I've been watching this Fox News and the lame duck hearings and stuff like that, and I know over there in Milwaukee, there's a lot of jobs lost over there. So you guys, I mean, when I was out there, I seen a lot of people out of work, and right now they're trying to decide on if they should keep the unemployment benefits happening and some programs to cut. And I've been noticing there's a lot of programs out there like watching bears hibernate and different programs that get a lot of money stuffed into them, and they're proven not to work. And I don't see why we don't just stop doing some of those programs, and instead of thinking about cutting Social Security and stuff like that. And I was wondering, what do you think about that?
Well, you're right, Charlie. I mean, it's kind of bizarre that it's like the guy, our bracket, these middle income families and blue collar workers, we seem to take the hit every time there's a problem with government spending or money deficits or whatever. It's the working guy that has to take the brunt of the damage, and we have to kind of carry the load for everybody else. It's kind of a shame that with so much unemployment going on and homeless people and all these things that are going on where they could have programs that would really have some kind of effect and really help people, they waste money on stupid stuff. They spend something like I remember reading something about them spending $23 billion. That's what it be. $23 billion to try and combat this goth culture among teens. Where teenagers paint their fingernails black and they wear the
right
black makeup and everything. You know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Like Kelly Osbourne when she was on the show.
Right.
They spent $23 billion to try and figure out how they could combat goth culture in teenage. You know how much $23 billion could have done to feed the hungry in one state?
Exactly. And folks, a lot of this stuff, man, has affected the motorcycle industry. I mean, Tony, you know as well as I do, years ago, I mean, we had a lot of cool stuff going on, and the industry was booming, and then right now it's a lot of my friends, they're out of business or going out of business, that are just really famous and talented bike builders.
Yep. And I blame, again, government agencies and government bureaucrats for a lot of the problems that the motorcycle industry has today. EP is at the top of my list of I'd like to see him ban the IRS, and I'd like to see him ban the EPA. We don't need either one of those two.
Yeah, well, that's another one that's affecting the motorcycle industry.
Oh yeah, I mean with the especially you guys out in California with all the noise and the pollution restrictions on your motors, and they're making it harder and harder for the cottage industry, bike builders and manufacturers like the exhaust pipe makers are going to be struggling now. And then this right to repair act. You should have a right to bring your motorcycle to an independent shop or a small backyard mechanic and let him fix your bike, as opposed to having to go to a dealership, for instance, where you're going to be spending $85-$90 an hour labor, and you have to have special tools and the computer programs and everything. Once you buy a brand new bike, and it's your bike, you should be able to fix it yourself or fix it wherever you want to have it fixed. And yet, with this right to repair act, if this doesn't go through, you're going to be forced to go to shops. I'm not even talking about cars also, not just bikes, but cars
Right.
also. You're going to have to take it to the dealership, and with dealerships, you're going to be paying premium for that service then. because they have the programs, they have the keys, they have the software that they have to hook your vehicle computer up to do the diagnostics and to fix whatever's wrong with it. And the smaller shops should be able to buy those software programs so they can give you affordable repair prices for. Not everybody can afford to spend $85, $95 an hour in labor costs.
Exactly. Well, and another thing too is this is kind of like a catch-22 kind of thing, but the magazines like Easy Rider and Cycle Source and Saddle Tramp, the economy has hurt the business so bad that actually I get a lot of hits to my site now because people are coming to websites for the information because they can't afford to get the magazines.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's a big the printed media is in a big problem area right now. It's been going that way for a number of years. And there's a number of things that are I think that are affecting it. And these are just my opinions. It's not based on anything scientific or anything that I've read. It's just my own opinion. But I think that some of the stuff that's hurting the printed media is that we're in such an electronic age and digital age now that everybody's you got 6-year-old kids with cell phones and have computer skills that I haven't even attained yet, and I'm 65.
Right.
They can do more on a computer than I can do. So it's gearing towards the digital age. There's less desire because everybody's in such a hurry. There's less desire to sit down and flip through pages and actually read something when they can flip through it on their iPhone while they're walking or on the
watch
bus.
it. Yeah.
Have to carry heavy magazines around or books with them. That's part of the problem, I think, for print media. And another one, of course, is with the environment and all the issues and concerns about the environment and saving the trees. They're making it so hard for this without reforestation. The pulp gatherers and the paper industry has raised prices for paper, where it's becoming an economic nightmare for print media, where they have to raise their advertising rates and they have to seek out more advertisers, which leaves less space for content. You're starting to get magazines that look more like bargain shoppers and very few articles in there. So you eliminate a lot of that with the internet.
Right. Now another thing, folks, Tony's a representative for UB and Abraham, and they're one of our big sponsors that help keep Bikers in a Circle rolling. And I was wondering, now that the economy has been hit like this, some folks probably have moved to motorcycles, and I'm not just talking Harley Davidsons, just a cheap motorcycle to get to work instead of a vehicle. Have you seen a expansion in that, and maybe is that more wrecks and stuff happening now because of that in the motorcycle
that's
industry?
That's a good point, Shirley. I see a lot of people riding motorcycles and motor scooters, those little Piaggios and Vespas and things. There's a lot more people out there on two wheels. And not everybody
that don't have the training.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Not everybody belongs on a motorcycle or should be on a two-wheel vehicle. They either didn't get the training, or they're people that rode some years back and they jumped back on. Maybe weren't good riders then, or maybe were good riders but are rusty now. And it kind of feeds into the whole problem we as motorcyclists in the rights industry are looking at, or the rights movement is looking at, and that's the fact that you have NTSB and NHTSA coming at us saying, the accident rates are up, the fatality rates are up, although they've actually went down this year. But overall, they were saying in a trend in the last 5 or 10 years, the fatality rates have been climbing and climbing and climbing, but they never mentioned that the number of registrations and the number of people on two wheels has been climbing at a greater rate than the fatality or injury rates. So actually, the fatality and injury rates are about the same, if not a little bit lower than normal. Well,
I noticed back a couple of years ago when the gas went up to like $5, $6 a gallon almost, a lot of folks went to motorcycles and scooters, and I know,
It could be a car, and that could be another, and you hit another thing on the head there, Charlie. That could be another reason why those figures are a little bit manipulated when you hear the government come out and say, well, overall car crashes are down, but motorcycle crashes are up. Well, like you just said, there's more people riding bikes and less people driving cars, or they may be driving their cars less miles now because, when you used to take weekend trips or trips to go visit friends and family for holidays or birthdays or whatever, there's less of that travel going on now because frankly it's more expensive to have to travel 200-300 miles on a weekend to go visit somebody, and they're just not making those trips on weekends anymore.
Exactly. And a lot of families are a 2 and 3 car family, and when the economy hit like that, it went down to a 1 car and a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then don't forget about the insurance too. Insurance rates
Exactly.
have gone up, and if you had 2 or 3 vehicles and you're in a mandatory insurance state, even if you're not, you should really have all your vehicles insured just
Right.
to protect yourself. But it gets pretty expensive to the more vehicles you have. Sure, they give you a little break on multiple vehicles, but if you're paying $200 a vehicle and you got 5, you're paying a lot of insurance money out.
Right. Well, folks, and if you're out in the Midwest, out there by Wisconsin or surrounding areas, and you do get into a motorcycle accident, please give UB and Abraham a call over there and Tony and them, because man, they really know all about the laws and the rights, and they go through the whole process with you and really help you get back on the road, huh?
Well, thanks, Charlie. I don't like to blow my own horn, but you know what they say: if you don't blow your horn, nobody's going to blow it for you.
Right.
But we probably handle more motorcycle cases than any other law firm in Wisconsin, and that's not to say there isn't a lot of good attorneys in Wisconsin, because there are. But as a motorcyclist, what I look at is I want a good attorney, but I want an attorney that's going to give something back to the motorcycle community, and I don't see any law firm that even comes close to doing what UB and Abraham does as far as supporting the motorcycle community, as well as the Latino, the Black community, the entrepreneurships. A large part of our practice is motorcycle cases, and we give a lot of money and support back to the motorcycle community. But we also encourage and support young entrepreneurs, young business people. We several schools, some little league teams, Latino community events and programs, several different scholarships. So they're giving back. They give back a lot to the entire community, and the motorcycle community benefits greatly from this firm. That's one of the reasons I've been here for 17